하나, 둘, 셋.
Yeah, my bad. I wanted to shift it a little closer. How's that sound?
Sounds like you're wrestling through a bag of Doritos.
Does it still sound like that?
No, you're good now. You're good.
Okay.
All right. Konnichiwa. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jomel Socorro.
My name is Jarron Gaddis.
And we are the Wannabe Boo podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest game and anime news, reviews, and waifus for life. Welcome to episode 81.
Dun dun dun.
So,
I wonder. I honestly wonder, like,
right?
So, obviously, it's hard to make jokes about numbers as time goes on, and
Right.
we're getting a little bit more competent. We can well.
Oh no, we're definitely a lot more confident now. I was actually listening to like our pilot episode some time ago because I was going through a lot of the old files, and Jesus Christ, it was it sounded like any other, I guess, first episode anything, like unscripted. It almost sounded like unprepared. It sounded like we had no idea what the fuck we were doing.
Oh, we definitely didn't.
We've come a long way, especially with the fucking intro in general, and even like a little bit of a beginning bit, every now and then.
Right.
So I think we're doing just fine in terms of like our beginning bits. I don't know. I mean, we can always try to do number jokes now and then.
81 is 8 times the fun, because fun rhymes with one. Yeah. There you go.
That pilot episode
There's your joke.
That pilot episode starting to sound better more and more as we keep going.
Let's be honest. That's gonna be our best episode. No one can ever beat that.
What, the pilot episode?
Yeah, we will never top it.
Probably. Maybe also because we were still in the same room when we were actually recording that. So,
that's true.
As you guys know, and for those of you who are new listeners to the podcast, from like episode 20 or 30 something and onward, we've actually been recording all of our podcasts in a remote fashion. So I'm recording everything here in Illinois, but in Alabama, that's where Jarron is actually.
Good old Bama.
Sweet home Alabama. So we've been recording it in a long distance fashion, but it works. It works for the most part, and it's been sounding great. I mean, we got 2,000 fucking downloads out of it from you guys, so it's definitely working somehow.
That's true, but I don't know. I did prefer us doing the in-person stuff because it's like, I don't know. It felt more
like real.
What's the word? Yeah, it felt more real.
Oh no, definitely. I would like if anything, if we were given the choice, I'd rather have both of us in like a in like a makeshift studio and just record in person.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So if one of us did ever tell like a bad joke or something, one of us can actually slap the shit out of each other.
Right.
So,
or if at any point in time things get too hot and heavy, I can just fuck Jomel right there on live.
Yeah, pretty much. So that makes for good podcasting right there, Jarron. You got the ideas, and that's the future of podcasting.
Right.
So, but
wouldn't that be ASMR?
That's a specific kind of ASMR. Like that's a lot of slurping and mushy noises and shit like that.
I feel like people having sex is like that's a thing though. That's a thing people get off to.
What, sex?
The
ASMR?
Sound of it. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
They have to.
Is it?
I mean, okay, everything's a thing. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, everything is a thing, but like,
I guess if it's a big thing, I feel like it's.
I don't know. Maybe, with the whole POV stuff, yeah, that it makes a little bit of sense when there's a visual aid for all that kind of shit. But like,
just listening. I don't know. Like, for example, blind people have to get off.
I guess. Maybe, but I feel like it had to be narrated to them, just to get a better understanding of what's going on.
I suppose.
Otherwise, you're kind of like just preparing a fish, and if they just get off the sounds without any context, it'll be kind of weird.
Well, I don't know. So, for example, like I don't know. Actually, I don't know how deep we want to go into that rabbit hole right now.
Hey, we've built this podcast off of porn and hentai. I think we'll be fine talking about a little bit of some weird ass sexual fetishes and whatnot.
I guess. Well, so like I don't know, because now it just feels weird to say.
Just what? What?
Because like I thought about
You're
what I was about
now
to say
you're
before I
now
said it, and
subconscious
it's
about it.
like, I don't know. I shouldn't be.
We are already
Uh,
listed as explicit. I don't think any children are listening to our podcast.
that's a fair point. Well, it's because now that we have, we've had some guests. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Like a small following. What? Do you want to be more responsible
s-
now?
ah,
Is that what you're trying to ask? Is your mother listening to our podcast now? Is that why?
no, thank
Do we
God.
do we have to
Even
be
if we
aware?
went clean, I wouldn't want her to listen to it.
Really? Okay.
Cause like I don't need her to know about weeb shit.
Our community is a how do you say a very high character. We've got a lot of characters in our community, both real and 2D. But you know, we give
Right.
off a strong presence, I guess you'd say.
Right.
I mean,
So
regardless of where you
that's
are from the spectrum, we still we still give off a strong presence. You know.
hmm I would say one of the strongest presences. Presences.
Uh,
Presence. Presences.
I don't know. I
What's the
think
plural of presence?
isn't it just presence?
All look at all these different. No, because it.
Like your
How
presence
would
has
you?
guided me to salvation, and you're talking to a whole group of people. I think it's in terms of the context of like who you're talking to.
But the both of your. So you wouldn't say the two of you your presence.
Yeah, you
You'd say
would.
the both of your presence
Yeah, the both of your
or all
presence.
of your presence.
Yeah, or all. Yeah, so it's a context of the pronoun before the word presence, but it's still presence
Yeah.
regardless.
Right. All right. So the anime community presence,
Yeah,
our presence
but I don't know, John. I,
is
I think
very strong.
it's strong, but I think the K-popper presence is a lot more intense in
Well,
general,
see, here,
or any kind of like
I don't
fan.
now intense. I don't know.
I don't know the K-pop fandom, or even like J idol fandoms. You know, like anything with to do with like idols and all that good stuff, or like them like international pop stars.
Well, it's because we don't you don't want to pop off as a fucking ant weeb like, oh my god, you don't like you don't fucking no, like okay, we'll pop off to each other, we'll get excited about our weeb shit together because that's
Right,
fun, of course, right.
right.
But like I'm not about to go into a public space and be like fucking oh yeah, high school DxD, yeah, more titties for the shit like that.
Well, I mean, any kind of like rustic conversation like that can throw off anybody, even if it's not talking about anime. You know, I think at least.
True.
You know,
But I don't know.
it's
I
like, did you
feel
get a
like it's
load of
different.
like Hillary Clinton's tits? I mean, geez, it's,
Fair enough.
any conversation you start with like tits or anything obscene, it'll definitely turn some
You're right.
heads.
You're
You
right.
know.
You're fair. Fair enough. All right. Let me
Yeah.
change the way I said it then. So getting excited for something because obviously people in America do like cartoons all over the world. People are a fan of their own cartoon or their own culture's cartoons or what have you.
Right.
Um, but when how do I say it? Like the level, because when that level meets the same thing like a J-pop fan would be,
Right.
because they're people get excited about real people, makes sense.
Right.
But when you get that excited about something that doesn't exist, it puts on a precedence.
Yeah.
Not to so much to say that I'm ashamed of it, but other people are gonna be ashamed of me.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. It's like I don't know why you have to feel embarrassed for me because I happen to rave about some character individual that doesn't exist in real life, nor does it exist in our dimension. You
Right.
know.
But that in itself is why.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, it's not something that can be easily solved nor easily
Right.
accepted, but it's sort of part of our own reality that we either most of us deal with. I mean, the most of us do deal with it as far as like as hobby any hobby goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's about it. I mean, there's not too many people that really get butthurt about being judged. At least
Yes,
I
there
find.
are.
I mean, that's like a loud minority. I honestly don't think everyone feels the same way about
No, no,
being judged, especially with anime today being more accepted as a regular form of medium
you're right.
nowadays.
You're right. It's
So
definitely less so than it's ever been before, but
yeah,
it's still like saying like, oh yeah, I took a, what would be the good comparison? Is like, oh yeah, I filled a bathtub with the water from that lake. That's how much less water is in the lake now. You know what I mean?
I'm not really following your analogy there.
It's a drop, basically a drop in the bucket
Oh, okay.
uh, of um of what's changed. I mean, granted, it's a bit more substantial than that. It's less a drop in the bucket and more like you poured a cup of water in a bucket.
Right.
There's a difference. It's visible, but there's still that stigma,
Yeah.
especially because people like me still perpetuate it.
Well, yeah. That doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't
It
necessarily help
doesn't
our
help. No.
stigma. But the fact that we can embrace it and not feel so, at least for the most part, not feel so obstructed by such judgment, I think that's what makes it beautiful.
Hmm.
If I can proudly wear like my idol happy to work one day, then I think I've done a good job. It's a
Well,
little
but
rope,
see,
little rope thing. I bought at Asen.
right, but see, here's the thing. It's also kind of a weird, like, uh, not duality, but like it's a weird thing where it's like the main people that would like get embarrassed for you are the people that are into it too.
It's like the closet weebs then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, again,
because
that
like, you go on.
well, I mean, I feel like no, you going ahead. I feel like you get a point going on.
All right, so because I was gonna say, so like I mean, you're not gonna see it at a con because we're all there to be cringy together, which is fine. But like,
Right,
you're in a workspace and like Frank down the hall watches anime, and you're over there fucking wearing your goddamn Agahigo hoodie. Maybe not everyone gets it,
right,
but Frank gets it, and he knows you're a fucking degenerate. Fucking Marianne across the way that has no idea what anime is isn't gonna fucking question. Is gonna like, yeah, that's just Bill. That's just Jomel and his fucking weird uh
face hoodie.
face hoodie. It's kind of like that. It's like people that don't know won't necessarily care because there's not uh they
It's because
don't
they
have a
don't.
reference.
Yeah,
They don't understand.
it's funny how you say that. It's because there was actually what is it? There was a tweet, I think. No, it was either a tweet or some sort of like announcement, but somebody posted on the
Hmm.
school on a school board on the website
Hmm.
referencing to an Higo hooded sweatshirt. Um,
Uh-huh.
but the thing is though, the what the post included was it was a faculty member that saw one of their
Please.
students like wearing the hoodie. But
That's fine.
the thing is because he knows what it is, he can't necessarily like ban that kind of sweatshirt. Otherwise, he'd actually have to explain the reason why that would be banned to like parents and shit.
See, you don't want to spread it. You don't. It's such a hard thing. It's
Uh,
such a hard thing. It's like you don't want to spread it.
True, but I feel like at a certain point, John, once we as weebs start becoming parents, that'll kind of just spread out on its own, and it'll become more of a natural thing.
But here, I don't know. I feel like even then it'll be self-contained.
Really? Even
Yeah,
though
cause
more of it's
like,
becoming much, even though what anime culture itself is becoming a little bit more accessible, especially to especially when we start growing up and actually start having families of our own, and we'll start spreading that shit to our kids and all
right,
that.
until it becomes as popular as like regular porn, or like not like okay. So obviously, I keep always going back to porn and stuff because like yes, I understand anime is not all about that, but
Right.
like it's still a big part of it, and
Definitely.
that's still the stigma, until it becomes so naturalized that we understand it's normal
Mm-hmm.
to see people getting off the cartoons. Until that becomes normal, that being a part of it is always going to make it a little weird.
Yeah, you
In
know
case
what?
the Agahigo hoodie.
you you know what? We should advocate for that, Jarron. Hashtag Fat for Tunes. That's what we should be doing. You know, it's small steps like these is which is what will help us, in the long run for future generations to understand and to be more accepted as far as everyone's hobbies and shit like that. So hashtag Fat for
Hmm.
Tunes. Let's make that a thing.
I'm down for everyone being into, like, if you're into hentai, that's great. Sure, cool, yeah. I was having conversations with a couple of my friends, a couple other friends about it. I was like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just hentai. And like, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think if interestingly enough, I think if you start with hentai, anything else, you can't really top anything else. You can't really top hentai with anything else other than like what maybe an extreme violent anime, but that's about it.
Right.
So if you would start off with hentai, everything else becomes trivial. It just becomes a normal show.
And you're absolutely right. But we're never gonna just start with hentai. You don't fucking. It's like, oh yeah, what's anime? It's like, I don't know. Go watch Boku no Pico. Like, all right, cool. And, back going. Hitting the old meme.
I mean, yeah, that's you're beating an old dick that's never dying, but oh shit.
Right. But like, you
I mean,
can't.
I started off with one of my coworkers that was getting into anime with Kill la Kill, so and Goblin Slayer, so I had to make sure that he was ready for that kind of stuff.
Right, but see, here's the thing with Kill la Kill. You see I'm gonna toot Trigger's horn real quick. The beautiful thing about a lot of Triggers anime is that they encompass so many genres
Right.
and like subject matter that you just like, all right, you get a lot of what other anime have to offer. So Kill la Kill, you get the ecchi right off the bat, and then the whole point of the show is getting used to the ecchi.
Right.
So like you get used to it. You get introduced to, like, your super overzealous characters with Mako. You get used to the yelling characters through fucking Satsuki, Ryoko, and Gamagori. You
Mm-hmm.
get used to regular nudity again. You get used to the ecchi. You get used to weird concepts
Mm-hmm.
like the fucking 3-star uniforms doing all this weird shit. You get
Right.
used to fucking creepy sexual undertones like fucking
Or the teacher.
Kieran fucking finger banging her daughter.
Oh yeah.
Like you get,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's still weird. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, all right, anime can get there sometimes.
Right. But it all balances out. But something like Kill la Kill balances it out because it also includes like the beautiful animation from the action
Right,
scenes
of
and
course.
whatnot. So it's like a smorgasbord of like you want to know what anime is, just show them Kill la Kill and just gives you like a good taste of every other genre in that damn series.
Right. The only thing it really, well, it even has romance between Mako and Gamagori, even though it's not necessarily like.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's hinted at, but it's not
Yeah, and then
fully
you also
touched on.
and then you also get like the drama, like the drama that revolves around Ryoko and her quest to finding out
Right.
who has like the other scissor blade,
Right.
and what else is there? Good storytelling too. You get compelling storytelling
Hmm.
that provides like twists and turns and like
Right.
and actually character arcs. Throughout the
Hmm.
whole series, and even like a nice good ending to like finish it off with after all that crazy chaotic bullshit.
Hmm.
And there's even a bit of a school life sometimes. Like maybe in the beginning there was a bit of a school life with Ryoko, just a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. It's definitely the first, like, how long is Kill la Kill? Is that 24?
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
two.
24, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a two-core series, so 24-ish,
Yeah.
I think.
So about, yeah, first 12 episodes, 12 or so.
So
Well, no, I'd say even the first, like, no, yeah, first 12 are going to be school ish
related,
life until there's the war happens.
right. So I mean, in reflection to our community and stuff like that, uh, starting them off with like, oh yeah, I mean, starting off a conversation like that with like some of the extremes is a good way to like make what is it make set a bar. There you go. Set a bar of like expectations. Whereas everything
Hmm.
else at that point is more so like subgenres and just normal shit.
Right, right, right.
I mean, then again, it's like you said, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen not gonna happen until a couple of generations when more and more people start becoming more involved with it. Whereas where there's
Hmm.
conventions, where there's like networks like Netflix become providing more original shows and also backing up other studio shows and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's slow. It definitely is slowly becoming more a part of everyday life. Now, whether it becomes a norm, that's a whole different. That's a whole different evolution right there.
But see,
So,
here's the thing: I fear when it becomes a norm.
well,
Like,
I
do
mean,
I
let's.
want anime to be normal?
I mean, let's just pray like when it does become normal, maybe it'll be when you're like old as fuck, and like every
Yeah.
other person is like wearing an Ahigo hoodie. And you're like, what a time to
Yikes.
be alive.
Right, exactly. That becomes the most common phrase in the universe. What a
Yeah,
time to be alive.
exactly. Instead of just like Playboy or nudie mags, just on the fucking like gas station magazine, you also get like some doujinshi like monthly magazines and the stands next to it too. Like it's we're already sort of getting a taste of this. Like when I go to like a Best Buy or something, I'll walk around and I'll see like an anime section or even like an FYE and like, oh damn, yeah, I forgot this is like a
Right.
thing, for certain stores and stuff like that. Now imagine that on a
Mm-hmm.
larger grand scale, where like you're getting just more like either it's more merchandise or just more exposure to it in some form or way. Kind of like how Japan does it with their fucking ad campaigns when they promote like prefectures or when they promote fucking products. Like I know they do what is it? They did some like they definitely promoted the hell out of the Saga prefecture after Zymerland Saga became a hit.
Right.
So, but even stuff like that, where like
Saga.
even stuff where like Attack on Titan was promoting was it Domino's Pizza when it first came out that first season.
I forgot that was a thing. That was fucking funny.
So I want our society to be sort of like that. Maybe not as extreme as like using anime as a advertising tool at every moment, but like it's like it's more common to see nowadays in that kind of realm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we get to the point where we start putting like faux used panties in vending machine, that's when we've lost the war, Jarron. So,
I mean, aren't we heading there already?
I mean,
Isn't she?
it's an inevitable, is what Thanos would once say, but we would
Mm-hmm.
not be alive for that to happen or to see. So, we will be there for the rise, but we won't be there for the fall. So, we'll at
Okay.
least have that.
God, that's gonna fucking be spooky.
Yeah, if we get there earlier, then hell, I think it's time to move to that Mars colony that Elon Musk is always talking about. So
But he's a weeb too.
you know what? I think Mars is gonna have its. I think Mars's first intellectual life will be genetically developed cat girls.
Oh, that'd be honestly, I'd be okay with that though.
As long as they're not the ones from the Cats musical
Oh, yeah.
movie
Let's
production.
we don't talk about those.
Actually, you know what? Segueing to something like that, did you know that actually there was a I don't know if it's real yet, but I kept seeing that around. Something about like Japan approved some sort of like genetically modifying human genes with animal genes and shit like that.
I did hear about that.
Was it human gene manipulation? Typing this shit up right now.
Yeah, I did hear. I did see that browsing through Facebook.
Yeah,
I
some of
swear, it's
that
the funniest
editing.
shit that I find on my Facebook.
Yeah, true. Oh no, Japan has been editing human embryos for a while now. I don't know if this is something new in general.
Well, yeah, but they
They've always
haven't
been
done it with like animal shit. I don't think it's been legal till recently.
right. Let's see. Animal genes. I don't know. I don't know why the fuck did I get Black Lagoon? Okay.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, hold on. Oh yeah, hold on. There's some here. Nature.com. What is this? Japan. Yeah, this is in July of this year. Japan approves first human animal embryo experiments. The research could eventually lead to new sources of organs for transplant, but ethical and technical hurdles need to be overcome. So, a Japanese stem cell scientist is the first to receive government support to create animal embryos that contain human cells and transplant them into surrogate animals since a ban on the practice was overturned earlier this year. Hiromitsu Nakuchi, who leads the teams at the University of Tokyo and Stanford University in California, plan to grow human cells in mouse and rat embryos and then transplant those embryos into surrogate animals. Nakuchi's ultimate goal is to produce animals with organs made of human cells that can eventually be transplanted into people. Until March, Japan explicitly forbade the growth of animal embryos containing human cells beyond 14 days or the transplant of such embryos into a surrogate uterus. That month, Japan's Education and Science Ministry issued new guidelines allowing the creation of human animal embryos that could be transplanted into surrogate animals and brought to term. So, human-animal hybrid embryos have been made in countries such as the United States, but never brought to term. Although the country allows this kind of research, the National Institute of Health has had a moratorium on funding such work. Since 2015. Naguchi's experiments are the first to be approved under Japan's new rule by a committee of experts in the Science Ministry. Final approval from the ministry is expected next month. And then this whole article just kind of going off of that approval right there. So, yeah. I mean, granted, this is definitely for, a much more bigger use for, human life and human preservation.
Right.
So.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about the fact that in the next maybe 10 years we could just see the next year or so we could see actual fucking cat people.
That would be interesting. But just by the way this is going with it, it's actually interesting to see how it's interesting to see what they're doing with this. So you know how because apparently people can get certain animal organs to replace the human ones, but in this case they're trying to put human organs inside animals or have it grow inside animals as normal.
But that's not fun.
I mean, it's organ farming in a more ethical way, an ethical manner.
Is it ethical though? Hey, we're raising these animals just to fucking cut their asses open.
I mean,
granted, you
could say the same for our meats and whatnot, and for food production.
Yeah, I guess you can.
And if anything, this is more so towards preservation of human life. So this is more. It does have a higher moral standing to a degree.
True, but you could argue making food is also.
I mean, we're not gonna get into.
That's a whole ethical debate for vegans and people
and furries alike. So
Yeah, that for furries and vegans to argue about.
So I mean, I'll link the article down for you guys to read out. I mean, there's a whole section here about ethical concerns too, apparently. Mm-hmm. So, it is an interesting article. I mean, the Google community is definitely taking it to a different level.
Oh yeah, of course.
But sure, I'll take my makeshift cat that has human organs in it for some godforsaken reason. Yeah. I'll fucking do that. But. So we are recording this at 3 fucking a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. So if our conversations get a little weird.
Yeah, it's late. Well, I actually don't feel too tired, to be honest, because I was sleeping. That's why I kind of missed an earlier recording session because I fell asleep.
Right.
Didn't wake up till like midnight. But I did have an interesting dream though that woke me up, which gave me an idea for an isekai series. So. I told you. I just told you that I had an idea, Jarron, on recording,
right.
But I haven't actually told you what it is yet. So this will be the first time I'm telling you about it. For anyone out there that likes the idea, don't fucking steal it. All right. I am using this recording as a form of what is it? An original
copyright.
Well, I wouldn't say copyright, but this is having this recorded and having this recorded on file would provide proof of ownership of it. That I'm the one that came up with it. So,
right.
I think it's not fair use. It's something else. But point is, I had the idea first, and it's recorded for this reason. So any of you motherfuckers that try stealing it, I'll be willing to collaborate, maybe with an artist and with a better writer or something, because I can't. I haven't written shit in years. So my writing can be a little bit off in general. But so here's the basic principle. So it's an isekai story. No fucking one. Yeah, it's another isekai story. But
look, Despite what people say, isekais are good.
They are good, especially when they have like different concepts and shit, and they twist things around.
Right.
So,
Or
but
at least do the things that the cliche stuff really good,
yeah,
really
exactly.
well. Yeah.
So, so here's
But
the
go on. Sorry.
idea. Oh no, no, it's good. So I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything like this yet in terms of like isekai story production. At least to my with my experience. But if something like this already exists, then I'll probably have to take a look at it. But the basic concept is, uh, you have a renowned serial killer isekai into a world,
Interesting.
and instead of helping the kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
he actually teams up with the demon lord,
Mm-hmm.
kills the demon lord, and becomes like the new, and then kind of like starts going about his business in such a way. This is sort of like his own little fantasy being realized, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the entirety of it's not really fleshed out, since it was based off a dream, but essentially that's pretty much like the premise there. Like, he wasn't killed or anything when he got isekai'd. He was summoned. He was actually summoned in the fantasy world and all that shit while he was in prison. So like while he was in a cell, he got isekai'd via like magical circle.
Mm-hmm. So no truck kun. Like
No,
he
no,
killed somebody, he's on the run, and then he gets hit by truck kun.
no, nothing that easy for him. No, he spent a good number of years in prison for a while, and then he got isekai'd, and
Mm-hmm.
he this is his escape. So he took he takes advantage of the fact that he's being renowned as a hero, gets all the gear and shit like that, run runs up. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it. I kind of I wanted to go with the idea where like he kills either he kills like the demon lord, or he kills like the fucking he ends up like killing the king or something. But this is
Mm-hmm.
him sort of like going fulfilling his own fantasy, and almost like, and he's also starting his own little he also starts his own like, not a kingdom, but like his own regime of like
Mm-hmm.
killers and whatnot. So it's a much darker take on the whole isekai thing.
Right.
Um, yeah, pretty much. So like he's a psychopathic serial killer that he gets isekai'd, and he doesn't end up being the hero that they expected him to be. It's also similar to like it's similar to the sense where like how in the Fate series the Holy Grail summoned like the great evils of the world instead of just heroes, sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Right,
summoning
right.
heroes, the Grail ended up having to summon like other evil, like was it the one caster from Fate Zero. He wasn't actually a hero. He was actually like a fucking, what is it? He was a dark, like a dark magician of some sort, and he was
Right.
not really a hero. So he ended up fucking up, fucking a lot of the humans in during the war.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like that kind of concept, like just a disturbing take on I guess on a lighthearted genre. Because for the most
Mm-hmm.
part, most of these like has been sort of relatively lighthearted, to a degree.
Yeah, that they are.
Like I haven't like I don't know if there's any kind of isekai like story that maybe ReZero. That's about it in terms of like the darker take on that, on like it's or on a darker theme in general, right?
Um. Yeah, there aren't. Let me think. Like, I mean, there's a few that like go a little further and like show like a realistic isekai. I've mentioned Grimgar before.
Right.
See what else. Hold on, I can't. Not coming to me. Yeah, honestly, there's not that many that take a like a unless it's like edgily, unless it's super edgy.
Right. I
It
think.
doesn't take a dark like the whole thing's just dark. Where, like you said, a villain gets isekai'd, and you just follow them. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, most shows don't do that anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, but I feel like as like with some success of other isekais, like with ReZero having its darker undertones for the story, and with something
Mm-hmm.
like what is it with Arifureta and Shield Hero having the betrayed hero theme going on there. Stuff like that is a good is a way to like mix up the genre a little bit. Break up some of the
Mm-hmm.
monotony.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like this was like a good story that I kind of like came up with, and I don't know. I'm sort of just like writing it out just to see where it goes. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
planning anything for it, but I don't know. Maybe this will start up like a bit of a fan fiction or something. I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know where this is gonna go. Uh, Maybe a video D or something. So I'll have to see where something like this takes us.
I
Um,
get you.
but some of my other writing has taken some levels or some levels of success, and
Mm-hmm.
it goes along with you, Jarron. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
You so do you want to explain our cringy our chuny days, or should I explain our chuny days?
I'll talk about it a little
All
bit.
right.
Fill me in where I've missed because I'm pretty sure. Um,
I mean, you're the one that
pretty
last had the
pretty
notebook.
that have I?
You're the
Yeah, I
last one that
guess
had the
you're right.
notebook. Yeah.
Um, so back in high school, we used to pass around this notebook where we pretty much write a joint story, kind of like every day we saw each other. One of us will write our part, then the other person will write their part. Usually, it'd be like dialogue by dialogue.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, it is 3:17. But basically, we kind of just formed this entire world and story about like it was about me and Jomel. So
Mhm.
it's already cringy right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, we found I don't remember how we found them or
I,
like
I
what
remember where
exactly they were from.
I remember how I
What?
found mine.
Uh
So,
huh.
but I don't remember how you got yours.
I don't remember at all.
I feel like
It is just not.
I feel like it was either a package or you kind of just found it somehow cuz it was in its okay, we have to explain first cuz I don't think anyone knows what we're talking about.
Right. So basically, there were these like tools of heaven or something, or rather, Jomel got a hold of one. I got a hold of one. His was like this. Uh, you called it peroxidite.
Yeah, because visually it looks like Mercury, but it
Mm-hmm.
had the ability was the host, the successful host of the person that used Meroxidite, they can manipulate it in any kind of form or fashion. Like it was sort of a
Mm-hmm.
mix between like the Venom symbiote and like the Green Lantern's shape shifting green ability and shit like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I could makeshift armor or make like little blades using it, and it would emit from my pores and shit. So it was very biological. So
Mm-hmm.
it would emit from my pores, and it would either it would exist um in a gaseous state. Oh, it could exist in all three states, so gas, solid, and liquid. But by default,
Mm-hmm.
it was a liquid state. I
Right.
also gave it a weird ass twist and made it sentient, and it had
Mm-hmm.
and the sentient form of it was like a little Russian dongo visually. Granted, this
I
is during the
love that
time.
part of it.
Granted, this is during the time I was raving over Clannad, so that was probably the influence I gave it gave on me.
Oh, it definitely was.
But it was really OP and really cool. And you know how far I went to it, how far I went deep into this shit, Duran.
How far?
I went as far as actually making the molecule, like the actual compound molecule for
Oh
Meroxidite,
yeah, I remember you showing me the
like the diagram,
Hey,
right?
did you? Yeah, the diagram.
I still remember the compound. It was OH2 OHG2. So yeah, no Ag. It was Ag2 OHG2. It was a combination of silver, mercury, and oxygen. And
Mm-hmm.
but I call it Meroxidite as the compound molecule.
Right.
So I got real down to the science and grit of all that good shit.
However, mine, because I'm a piece of shit, I didn't get as deep as I wanted it, or yeah, really didn't get very deep at all. However, um, mine essentially went like it was a it was a mask. I think we called it the Mask of Mikhail or something like that.
Oh, oh, that was the original name for. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
God, it's so cringy. Oh.
Yep. Yep. Right. Yeah. Right. If you watched fucking any Chun anime, that sounds familiar. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was called the Mask of Mikhail. It was like a black mask with like a cross on it, like a cross going down the slightly to the right and the
real
over
edgy,
the
you
cross.
know.
Real edgy. Um, and that cross would let me borrow the powers of uh like these OCs that I made, and it was like set to a limit of like five different ones, and each one. So when I used the power, like a chibi version of that OC would be floating around me, and that would be interactive with me. There was one where it's like, oh fuck, because then I have to go into like all my fucking OCs and shit, man. Well, there was one that could use then used a great sword and had
Mm.
was strong. There was one that
Wasn't that
used
Jace?
guns. Yeah, Jace was the one that used the sword. There was Luxina that used the gun. Shadow. At the time, his name was Shadow because it was a human version of Shadow the Hedgehog. God, I'm gonna fucking die.
We're just exposing ourselves at 3 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah, we're just. Oh man.
Wait till we get to the heroines of the story. But go on, Jarron.
Oh no. But yeah, so yeah, it was a couple different OCs. I borrowed the power of them. And it was like I said, we would write back and forth to each other through this
Mm.
notebook,
You want to talk about our
doing our
origin stories though?
dialogue and
You want
huh?
to talk about the origin stories of it? Because I remember how I got mine. I feel maybe if I talk
Uh,
about mine, you might remember yours.
Maybe, yeah.
All
So
right.
you go on ahead.
So
You start with your embarrassment.
so the way I got mine was according to the story and the
Hmm.
way I wrote it. One day after school, I was going home and I was getting to get ready to go. Timeline wise, this was our senior year of high school. So
Hmm.
like that's the time where our story was started instead of like freshman year and all that shit. So I
I'm
was
pretty
driving
sure we were writing it in our
like
junior year though, weren't we? Or was it our sophomore year?
no, I think. Are you sure it was our junior? I might have been our junior year then. So,
I don't
cause I do,
remember
cause I
exactly.
was already I was driving by that times, and I remember, and I ended up I used my car in my story because I was driving at the time.
Right,
So
right,
so
right.
it might have been our junior year. It might have been written in the timeline of our junior year. So, but point
Hmm.
is, I was going home after school, so I was getting ready to get in my car and all that stuff, and
Hmm.
as I walked my car, something had fallen onto the hood of my car and actually like indented it, shit like that.
Right.
So as I freaked out, I looked over to check out the damage and whatnot, and what I found was a silver ring, like a silver signet ring on in the center of that little crater of my car. So
Hmm.
out of sheer curiosity, I picked it up and kind of just like examined it and whatnot, and like any curious co-protagonist of the story, I put it on for shits and giggles, because
Right, of
that's what I
course.
would do with the debris of the car of the debris of what damaged my fucking car, right? Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
But the moment I put it on, I fainted in the parking lot, and then I woke up in the nurse's office. And then when I woke
Right.
up in the nurse's office, the ring had gone off. The ring had gone from my finger, and instead, a silver dongle blob with a mustache appeared on my chest and started talking to me. And that's
Yeah.
how that's how I think his name was Vladimir, like any other Russian fucking name.
Was it Vladimir? Okay.
I think it was Vladimir. It was something very Russian, standard,
Hmm.
stereotypical Russian. And then he explained to me his fucking existence, and the ring actually had defaulted into two little like bracelets on my like bangles
Hmm.
on my arms. So
Right.
that was its like default state.
Hmm.
So that was the origin story of my abilities. Because was it Vladimir like filled me in what his existence was, what he was in terms of his molecular structure, and what he was used for, what he was at least sort of used for in a sense as a
Mm-hmm.
biological weapon, a biological weapon in the under the authority of the church.
Mm.
So,
Oh yeah,
um,
that's right.
because he was
That's
made.
why it was called the
What
yeah,
was there?
massive McHale because
Yeah,
the church was it the enemy or the
I think it was the main. The church was the main enemy because the church was making these artifacts to like rule the world and shit like that. Because why the fuck not?
mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, how far do I remember from the story? Because Maroxide was created in a Russian lab.
Mm-hmm.
There were many experiments from it, but it ended up being a failure at a certain point, and then they launched one of the rockets that Russia launched up for satellite purposes was a fake.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fake announcement, but they launched it up in space because they want to get rid of the evidence and stuff like that. So they wouldn't
Right,
be.
right, right.
So they deemed Rockside as a failure because no, they didn't have any kind of a proper host to bond with it. And a
Mm-hmm.
cool little side story that I remember was that those failed bonded experiments ended up being like was it cryo ended up being cryo freeze and summoned put on the rocket too because they ended up
Mm-hmm.
they ended up like bonding horrifically with like the host and they ended up looking like how like a silver carnage of course like visually.
Right,
So
right,
they're
right.
like out of control and they could not they didn't have any kind of like humanity or sentient left. They were kind of just like a pretty much like a berserk version of like a human pretty much. So they
Mm-hmm.
put all the failed experiments and all the rest of the failed peroxide onto a rocket and fucking launched it into space. But some of the debris made it through the atmosphere. No, I remember it launched into the rocket, and I think it accidentally hit like one of like it hit debris or hit a satellite, and then exploded and shit like that. And some of the debris that came down on Earth made it through the atmosphere, and one of them landed on my car, which was the
Mm-hmm.
peroxide.
Right,
So that was
right.
that little side story of how Vladimir came to be and how I don't even have an explanation why I bonded with him so flawlessly because MC
Because yeah,
was it
main
over
character powers.
exactly MC powers. So did any of that help you remember your origin story at all?
I'm actually pretty sure it was a package now.
Oh, was it?
'Cause I feel like I got something in the mail at school,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got something in the mail at the school, and I remember I put it on and it, like dug into my brain,
Oh yeah.
like because it was the mask, and like I was like looking at it, blah blah blah. You put it on, and
Mm-hmm.
like clawed into my brain, and like I passed out. But it could like shrink down into my glasses because I wear
Mm-hmm.
glasses. If you didn't know, uh, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's so. Yeah, nothing as cool as Jomel's, but it was
And I was really into like storytelling and shit like that. So I don't. I'm not trying to be extra here. Actually, no. I think I was being extra just because it was just my imagination was just raving, and then I just like started adding shit as I wrote on and all that good shit.
hmm
But that wasn't the whole kicker because was it we were our characters got accidentally involved in some
like
international war.
overgoing war.
So eventually we did make some heroine characters for the two of us, of course,
hmm
right?
Yep, of course,
Now I can't remember what their names
as
were
you
for the
do.
life of me. That's the only thing I can't
I
remember.
Yeah, I don't recall.
All I do what I do remember was who the characters were and their physiques and their abilities.
hmm
So they were a pair of twin sisters. Um, one was the older one. There was an older one. Okay, I'll just start over with both of them. So they were both twin
hmm
sisters, and they both had relatively the same abilities.
hmm
Relatively because um, they both had to do with like electricity to a degree, or like
Yeah,
energy. No, it was energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was energy. One was negative, one was positive. They were
Mm.
trained through something. They kind of look like cyber ninjas essentially, from what I remember from the last. If I'm remembering the description correctly,
Yeah, like their uniform was very cyber like and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were normal girls for the most part, but they were trained as soldiers and whatnot.
Yeah. But yeah, they were positive and negative. The negative one could absorb.
Kinetic
I
energy.
think she could absorb kinetic energy and release it,
Yeah.
whereas the positive one could use electricity or something similar. Was it plasma?
Yeah, something like that. It was more external. So like a lot of her. So like one was like a I guess one was a tank and one was an attacker. I guess you'd say.
Right.
Or
Right.
and the way they were together was like any kind of like attack that would come onto both of them. The one sister would absorb the attack, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other sister would go in for like close combat. And with the one that absorbs the attack, she can release the energy back, but as like a fucking no, she was the one that can use a plasma ball because she converted all the energy to like a plasma ball and exert it out
Right.
like a mage attack or something.
Mm-hmm.
So the older sister, she was the positive one, and a little bit of detail that I added onto it. So their abilities came from their eyes. So
Mm-hmm.
one each of the sisters will be implanted with one of their eyes would be implanted with the artifact. Like one would have
Mm-hmm.
like a minus and one would have a plus on it, which would reflect on which one would have whom.
Right.
Just
Right.
for
Right.
artistic detail. But the one, yeah, the older sister had the positive one, and then the younger sister had the negative one.
Mm-hmm.
Characterization wise, I remember the older sister. She was the tsundere type and also the flat chested one,
Mm-hmm.
and the negative one was the soft spoken, voluptuous one,
Mm-hmm.
and um, well, we how do I say
Yeah,
this
we
without fuck?
dated them. Let's just say that. Let's just go off the bat. The plan was is that they were a romantic interest in the story. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. You just got to go for it because it's
Fine. Yeah, we're already this deep into it. Yeah, mine is
yeah.
fucking well. Yeah, our character and those characters were the OTPs of our story.
Yep. Yep.
So, and was it they? I remember in the story they attacked. They attacked both of us because we had artifacts and shit. So they
Mm-hmm.
assumed that we were part of the church. And the reason why, okay, so I mean, if I remember correctly, the whole ordeal was that these two sisters that were trained, they ended up escaping the place where they were trained at, and they wanted to take revenge against like the Pope or something because of what they did to them,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
they wanted to like get kill off all the artifact holders that the Pope had in contact with. So
Right.
for some reason they were both in Chicago at the time, and I guess they tracked down our artifacts, and they ended up finding both of us and attacked us both.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Oh no! Oh no! I'm starting to remember
What?
more of this. Oh god, that's Oh no!
Starting to remember more of that story there, boy.
I'm cringing.
Yep.
I need a
Mm-hmm.
fucking drink. Do you remember what I'm? Do you know what I'm talking? Do you know what I'm thinking of
I
right now?
I don't think I do.
Okay, because we both had a one-on-one fight with each of the sisters. I remember this now. We both were attacked, but we were both attacked we were both attacked in separate times in separate locations. I remember this
Right.
detail. Now, oh my
Oh man,
god.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I have a bad feeling.
Oh god. Oh, I'm smiling, but I don't know. I don't know what I think this is embarrassment. Okay. For context, um, for a little bit of context here, at the time of writing this, what is it? Oh, okay. So at the time of writing the story, I was
Hmm.
also in the middle of watching. What was it? I think it might have been the spring season. This no. It was the fall. It was the fall season. No. It was already out. I was in the middle of watching anime during the time of writing this,
Hmm.
and I was in the middle of watching a show called Horizora I Kakeru Hashi, also known as A Bridge in the Starry Sky to the Starry Skies.
Oh
Y-
yeah, that one. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that one, right, Jarron?
Hmm.
So I was really into the whole romance sphere for a little bit. So I decided to
Mm-hmm.
like add a little bit of a twist to the fight scene. Um,
Oh wait.
so when I wrote my fight scene, so this was my fight scene. I was fighting. I had a face off with the one with the positive energy. So she
Mm-hmm.
was all electric and all that shit in the Sundry one.
Yeah.
And I remember this was during the winter time. So this was during the winter season when she found me and then started attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't put up much of a fight for the most part. Only because like Vladimir, well, the way the way Morag's works is that I have a default like defense around a perimeter, but it's
Yeah.
not as perfect as I want it to be because it has to be if you're fast enough you can get through my defenses, but I can detect
Mm-hmm.
where you are, but and like maybe make like a bit of like a defensive like bits
Sphere.
everywhere like a sphere and then try to like block any kind of attacks and shit. So
Actually, if I remember correctly, you had did have a limit to the power in general. You
hmm
couldn't it couldn't go out a certain distance from you before it
yeah,
like
it was like there was like an actual perimeter. Like I think it was like either 10 meters out or something, and then there
yeah,
was like an absolute protection. It was like 5 feet or something.
right,
So, and then I could change it out, but it had like a max distance pretty much. I didn't have a
right.
constant one. There was a certain range of its effect.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember it was a back and forth of me just dodging around and blocking all of her attacks. So because she was mostly close combat and whatnot, and I just barely learned how to fight, I barely even
Mm-hmm.
learned how to use Maroxidite.
Right.
So all I could really do was kind of like block, and Vladimir kind of was sort of like my auto defense, and all he could really do is just be my second set of eyes, looking
Mm-hmm.
out for any kind of attacks. And what is it? I remember when she stepped forward to like try to like do a finishing blow, I slipped, and
Yep.
with me slipping,
Yep.
I grabbed her by instinct, and then she slipped and fell. And as we turned and I tried to like I tried to pin her down because I thought that was gonna be a good like strategic move to like stop her and shit. But
Right.
as I was turning around to pin her down, um, I tried to prop myself. I tried to like prop myself with my hand, but that hand also slipped, and what ended up happening was I accidentally kissed her. God, I want to die now. Oh, and then she got knocked out because she hurt her head. Because I kissed her first, and then because I was in the middle
But
of the
your lips
air.
came in contact, and then your head.
Yeah, and then she got unconscious. I was still alive because I was still conscious because my absolute protection was
Yeah.
on, so I couldn't necessarily get too badly damaged by a fall.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my fight
I
with
don't.
the
I
sister.
think we ended, or I lost the notebook around when I was supposed to write my fight.
Oh, really? Is that when it
Yeah.
was? Oh, okay.
Because I
You,
can't.
'cause I
I
don't
don't
remember
exactly
her.
remember what mine was.
Yeah, I don't
I
remember
don't.
ever reading yours or ever like seeing if you even had it up during that
Right.
time. Um, do you think you might have remembered what you would have written down? Because in terms of the personality of the other sister, I remember creating her character centered around
Mm-hmm.
Kotumi as a base.
Right. Right. I
So
definitely think I remember like I
oh, hold on. We're having some difficulties here. Slight difficulties.
while I
Hello.
was initially fine with how my powers work,
Wait, hold on.
I got to the point where I was like,
Wait,
this doesn't make any sense.
Hey, Dron.
Like, just having the powers of my OC is like, who fucking,
Hey, Dron. Can you hear me right now?
where's that just come? I don't know.
Hey, Dron.
The point of the,
Hello.
yes.
Okay. So We had a bit of we had a technical issue just now.
Uh-huh.
Your Steam shit just kind of shat on me,
Uh-huh.
and we didn't get any what you just said just now.
Wait, what?
We didn't get anything what you just said just now because your Steam kind of just shut off on me, and I had to like re-enter the call.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That was weird. What was the last thing you heard?
Well, the last thing we were talking about was no, it was right after I said that I centered the sister around Kotsumi.
Oh, fuck, that's a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
That's right. That's that last thing I said, and that was right before you started talking about it.
right. All right, so I was saying that I'm pretty sure I wrote it as like she was like during the entire fight she's just, kept apologizing cuz her didn't necessarily want to fight, but she, had to because, trying to get revenge against the Pope and whatnot.
Yeah.
And again, like Jomel said, being unused to how the powers work, I had the way mine in particular worked, the Mask of Mikhail is supposed to like mimic your like deepest desires and make them real, but just kind of like on you, like you can't like project them necessarily. Um Unless it's like small scale. So for example, the bullets. Uh but So as I was trying, cycling, I was trying to, visualize different shit to try to defend myself against her fucking basically perfect defense, where pretty much any damage I gave to her, she literally threw it back at me in plasma form. So you just uh going dipping and dodging in and out, and I think I copied you a little bit in that. No. I remember. I didn't finish with I didn't finish with it. I was
Okay.
split between the idea of having one of those embarrassing moments to finish the fight,
Uh huh.
or as I'm dipping and dodging, I try to explain that she's saying I'm sorry I have to kill you, but you have the artifacts, so you're a bad person. You're with the church, blah blah
Right.
blah. And I was during the whole fight, I was explaining that no, we just kind of came upon these by accident. We're just regular high school students, and
Exactly.
either that convinced her to stop, or we had the accident moment, or both happened. I don't remember.
Yeah. And that's where we stopped with the notebook, right?
Yeah,
Story like story wise, we didn't write anything else, but we did remember. I do remember talking about other characters and other artifacts, to a degree.
we did. I know we
Um.
did do like a little bit of a catalog of the different artifacts.
Yeah. I only remember one other one, which was they were like ankle bracelets, and it had the ability of like a person making had the ability to make had the ability of a person to make portals. So just
Right,
like with the game Portal, there was there was an A portal and there was a B portal.
right.
So and that person could like just make those out of sheer will and whatnot.
Hmm.
That was the one I remember. I don't know if there was anything else, any other artifacts that you
There
remember that
were
we
there were a
put
few. There
together.
was like boots. There was we designed our arch nemesis, or like the leader of the actual Pope himself, I believe, but I
Yeah.
don't remember. I know he had a really cool one, but I don't remember like what it was.
Was it wings or was it like something or like an actual item like a staff or something?
I think no, I think yeah. I think it was wings. It was like they the wings themselves produced something. Shit, what was it? I don't remember.
Mm. Because I do remember one little bit of detail was that all these items, like, what was it? Because the Pope distributed them out so that they could be calibrated, so that he
Hmm.
can harvest them and he could use them for himself. Like it would all come together. That was the
Right,
idea. Like it would come together. Like it would all come together and it could be used by one
and
person eventually.
right, and turn
And
them into a god.
yeah, and that's what the I think that's what the Pope that was the Pope's like major goal was to become a little
Hmm.
literal god with these artifacts and whatnot. It's
Hmm.
just that uh, they had to be made and be perfected and whatnot.
Hmm.
So yeah, I kind of wish we had the old notebooks so that we can just kind of run through our cringy memories and shit.
Yeah, but because of that, I'm also kind of glad we don't.
Why? That was
That would
some
have been rough.
that was some of my best art back in high school because I drew the catalog I drew at least my character the sisters and some of the other artifacts that we made.
You know what? That actually reminds me. I remember for art class, I drew a painting of myself in an action scene with the mask on.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, quote unquote action scene. It was just me like I was trying to do a point of view where it's like my face is really close, but my fist is coming up from behind. You
Right.
know, that kind of point of view the anime does sometimes. I was trying to mimic that. I mean, it came out okay.
Right.
Uh, I was pretty proud of that. I don't know where that painting is. Actually, I'm pretty sure I still have it. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's somewhere. It's
Do you still
upstairs
have it?
somewhere. Yeah, it's upstairs somewhere.
Okay. I'm going back to my old face. I'm going back to my high school Facebook post to see if I can find anything, any kind of remnants of our fucking
But see,
novel.
that's the shame. That's the shameful thing. I don't know why we did the notebook when we could have just fucking did
Like typed it out.
like literally typed it out. We both had computers.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a laptop with me every damn day.
Right. I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
why we just didn't do that. I know I remember.
What?
The girl I was dating in school at the time,
Mm-hmm.
um me and her did a similar thing where we passed a notebook back and forth doing a little story.
Oh,
And
really?
I think we that's where we got the idea from.
Oh.
Yeah. But for whatever reason we just didn't like level it up and fucking um write
Like
it out or type it out.
type it out and shit. Yeah, that might have been it. Well, going back to the comment I said earlier today, the reason why I said that our fucking the reason why I said that this level of writing was gonna be going somewhere was because this story was actually I told you it already, John, but this story is
Mhm.
actually getting picked up by a good friend of ours, that's actually in California right now.
Mhm.
He's not he's not planning to make a movie out of it. This is a direct like a movie direct like a upcoming movie director of our like a friend of ours. He
Mhm.
actually wanted to use our story as like a sub story of what his character is writing in his story in the movie that he's making right now. So I remember he asked me some time ago if he can have permission to like use the story as like as a creative idea how
Mhm.
the main character in his story is writing. You know what I mean?
Right. But unfortunately since I'm shitty, I lost the notebook and
No, I mean I gave him
recovering a lot of the details are a little difficult.
yeah. I mean I did give him some details as far as like what the general jits was. So and then I told
Mhm.
him that he pretty much has like creative liberty off of that,
Mhm.
and he could use it. So I kind of it'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun to like actually see that bit of a bit of a cameo in his like in his movie that he's making right now in the future.
Mhm.
So kind of a reminder of where we came from, Jarron.
Yeah, our cringy fucking chin beginnings.
Yeah, honestly. So no, I still wish we had the notebook, but man, I'm looking through my yeah. We didn't make any kind of digital footprint on that, which is sad. Like
Yeah, I
I
don't
kind of
know
wish we
why we
did.
didn't, but I can't even. Well, I mean, again, I know where we got the idea inspired from, but I just can't believe we didn't fucking
Like make
just
any kind of
say,
effort.
yeah.
Oh no. Looking at these fucking posts, I remember now. My first like
Hmm.
2 years of Facebook, I was a fucking poet. I'd be putting out these like fantastical pictures of like plants and shit, and I'd be writing a deep ass poem about life and the existence of human beings and our how the
Yeah, boy.
human life and
Yeah.
imagination is an enigma.
Beautiful.
I was any aspiring creative teenager at the time.
Yeah, but it
God.
happens, you know. You know, it's just like the meme. You know, going back and looking at your old posts and cringing.
Yeah. Oh, you
It
know
makes
what I did
sense.
post? You know what I did post? I posted my fucking four coma comics on here.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did. I remember those.
These are brilliant though. I was proud of the. I
How the
still.
fuck do you scroll all the way back?
Oh, here. Go to Facebook. Go
Yeah.
to manage posts, and then on the left side there
Yeah.
should be like a dated post, and it'll give you like a whole timeline of like everything. So I'm in. I'm
I
like.
see.
I'm going back in like 2010 and shit like that. That's where is it 2010? Yeah, 2010 is when I posted some of my comics and shit. Ah, these are fucking. I still have. I remember I posted the one of you. There's like two. There's two versions. There's Jarron one and Jarron two. I
Uh-huh.
remember drawing that. That was back when you were still together with your one girlfriend back in the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was like what is it? $30. It was a it was a comic about you trying to get $30 Pockies.
Right.
So
Yeah, I just found it.
and the one was brother and sister. This is them having fun on the snow. I see. I don't feel as bad looking at these. This is like my creative highlight right here. This is
Right.
lunch. This oh I remember this one. This was my lunch. This is my lunch comic.
God, you look like such a baby back then.
I know. That was me and my like me when I was like good weight and shit like that. I need to start losing my weight back again. Go back to that
What do you mean?
150
You've
days.
been going to the gym literally every fucking day.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not at my goal yet. I'm still like at what I'm at like 170 ish. I need to get to my undergrad weight, which is 150. I still got a ways away. Ways away. Yeah, I can't find it. There's no record of our fucking thing out here.
Oh man, these posts are fucking.
Are you looking at my shit or yours?
I'm looking at mine.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get a picture of Steve. I drew this picture of Steve. Actually, you know what? I think I still have this picture of Steve because I,
Yeah,
I
you
dated.
should.
Yeah, because I drew it one time. That was what November 7th, 2011, and then I colored it in one like maybe a couple years later. I still have that somewhere. I gotta find it. I remember dating the that when I colored it too. So there's a
Uh-huh.
size comparison of your dick. So, well, I mean, out of context, from those you don't know, um, well, was Steve your dick or was Steve the back of your head?
Steve was my dick.
Okay,
Smiley was the back of my head.
right. So Dron had some characters that he developed over back in the high school days. He
Yeah.
named his dick Steve,
Yeah.
and the back of his head, the back of his head, it would naturally his back head wrinkles would naturally make a smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
So he named it Smiley appropriately.
Yeah. Super creative. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now Steve was my crown and glory though.
Yes, definitely. Like if I were, we should. You know what? I may have to. I'm gonna have to post. I'm gonna have to post that old picture of Steve I drew. Here, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna share it right now to the fucking page.
Right.
Um,
So the whole lore behind Steve,
fuck, Lord. Fuck.
it's basically lore at this point.
Yeah, right.
So like I said, Steve was my penis. I'll say where I got the name from after I describe essentially what he was. He's essentially like an otherworldly eldritch worm that became attached to me for I don't remember what the reason was. Um yeah, otherworldly eldritch worm attached to me. It wasn't so much evil, but it would like personify all my sexual desires and shit like that. You know, it's a good way for a young teenager to met that out for himself. You know,
Right.
just project it some in a fantasy, some fantasy bullshit. But like there was a whole thing where it was like Steve has infinite penetration across all realms, where like no matter what state of being you're in, you're always being penetrated by Steve, or um essentially anytime he got angry, you know, he would grow to full size. It was about the like, well, full size, quote unquote, regular size was like the size of a bus, and he was just fucking drag my ass around as he fucking tore through cities and shit. Or maybe not a bus, but like a train, like the length of a train.
He was a big dick. So
Big spooky boy.
right.
His name was Steve because, of course you would call an Eldritch Worm Steve.
Was that actually a reason why?
It was I thought it would be fun to name. Well, initially I thought it would be fun to name my penis just something completely normal because I wasn't tooting my own horn, or at least not outwardly until the whole Eldritch Worm thing happened.
Right.
Um, but initially it was just because it was to call it something normal, but have it be amazing essentially.
Mm.
So it's just Steve the Eldritch Worm.
Oh, you know what, Jarron? I just remembered something.
Uh-huh.
There was a topic we were supposed to be talking about this week. I completely forgot about it.
What?
Comparing today's dubs with the Golden Age
Oh
dub.
shit, we were we were supposed to talk about that.
I just
Well,
remembered that because I was looking at some like anime shit. Like, wait a minute. Ah, fuck.
you right. I did completely forget about that.
Yeah. So it's okay. Uh, I just remembered. So I didn't remember this past week either. I mean, granted, it was a busy week for me, so I didn't really think about watching any dubbed anime at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to watch some dub net. Yeah.
Yeah, it was based off
Yep.
of the one on Adult Swim, if I remember correctly. It was
Mhm.
based off of that list. So
Right.
that's the one we're supposed to be watching. So,
Shit.
but
Let me fucking write that down so I
eh,
remember to do
yeah,
that this week.
yeah. Let me write that down too. And actually, I think this is a good time for us to conclude tonight's show, or in this case,
All
this
right.
morning. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 3:57. I got to work in the morning. God
Same.
damn. I
Actually,
mean,
I think I have work in the morning. I don't know because I can't log into the fucking site right now
oh God.
for some reason to check. So I'm just gonna essentially text one of my bosses and hope they'll tell me.
Okay, that will be good.
Otherwise, I have class later in the day. First day of classes, woo!
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Well,
Jeez.
first day of second semester
Well,
of classes.
so want to be first semester though, or not?
No, second semester. I
Did you
already
have?
had my first semester. This is the second
Oh,
semester,
oh. I
the
mean, I
fall
count.
semester.
Oh, of all. I mean, okay. I'm confusing myself. Okay. Well, hopefully, you have a good day at school. Um, I'll do the same at work, just doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know what else. Oh, do I'm gonna I do want to do a little bit of a self promo out here. So as you guys know, oh shit, we forgot to do our plug too.
We sure did. I've realized that like as we were talking about our story, I was
Oh
like, shit, we
really?
forgot to do the plug. Yeah.
Ah, well, do you think it'd be too late to put it on plug now?
I
An
mean,
hour and
again,
7.
the whole logistics, the whole thing where most
Yeah.
people don't listen in
Well, let's
after
do
some, but I mean, we
let's do it
may as
anyway.
well.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some dedicated
So if
listeners out there.
you wanna tell to tell us about your cringy ass stories and stuff you did in high school. Your Chinibu days.
Yeah, your original
You
original
can
like creator writer days. When you thought the whole world was against you and you were some magical being that was destined to save the world.
right, or your penis was a giant eldritch worm, whichever. You
Yeah,
know what? I should have made that my power.
Steve.
Yeah.
Did we know? I think we had. Didn't we have a separate anime for that, or was that just something that we just
Yeah,
kind of came up with?
we did. No, there was a whole thing.
Was there a whole
Because
thing?
yeah, because you showed me. No, I feel like you showed me something, and it was really fucking weird. Or you told me about something that was really fucking weird, and
Right.
then we made a show similar to it, where it was like so. there was a bunch of anyway. Let me do the plug first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come at us with all your funny, shitty, cringy stories from high school about stories you create, stuff like that. Hit us up at Facebook or Twitter. Just search WANNA BEABOO at those places, or you can listen to us at YouTube. On YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Listen Notes, the Apple Podcasts app, site, whatever it is. The Stitcher app and any other place that's picked up our RSS feed and or podcasts. But yeah, so I don't remember. So basically, there was this league of guys or girls or whatever, or both actually, where this guy's dick was like a dog like worm. So I was, like it wouldn't bark, or would it bark? I don't know,
Wait,
but it
was
would
that
like
what, was
lick
that
him
what?
all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh my. Oh, I remember. I remember. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Like what was it? He just had like his dick was personified to a degree. Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was like a pet at that point.
yeah,
And yeah, it would lick him and shit like that because it was like a pet, and that's how it
yeah.
worked.
And he could like fight with it and stuff because they're like, what was it? What was it? Because I
Um,
remember it was a combat thing, wasn't it?
yeah, wasn't it like a dragon? You just drag your body around and it kind of starts slithering in the sky like a fucking sky dragon, and then that's how
Yeah,
it transformed
yeah,
into. And then I do remember some of the villains, like what was it? It was like the vagina lips bat lady or something. It'd like open up and it'd
hmm
be like a giant, like they're either wings or they're like just fucking like a claw, like a mouth claw, like a scarlet
right,
pit looking thing, you know?
yeah. Or they could like put their fuck, or they could like put their fists in their boobs and like pull them off and use them as like boxing
Oh
gloves,
yeah,
superpowered boxing gloves or something like that.
I remember that. Were there also like boob cannons at a certain point
Yeah,
too?
boob cans and stuff. Yeah,
Oh
God.
my god.
Oh
We were definitely
no,
high
that's
schoolers at that time.
yeah,
And I
that
think
was some good shit though. That was absolutely funny. But that came from something you were describing to me, and like I didn't like I don't like I couldn't even replicate what you fucking said. It was like either it was a dream you had or a video you saw on YouTube
oh god, if it's a video on
where
YouTube, I don't know. I don't even think that
I
thing
can't even
exists. I can't
I
fathom
can't
where that
even
could even come from.
right. Like I remember I think you said it like opened with like this guy like like the heavy beat of the song started to come on and he would like grab his junk and like squeeze it to the beat of the song like do 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 and then
Oh, you know what?
I don't
I remember what it was now.
what
It was just a fucking idea I had. It was a thought in my head that I had to tell you. I remember that because I was like, you know what would be funny if some random dude would just start jerking his junk to the beat of some music. I can't remember what the song was, but I do remember having that thought and telling you about it. And then we went off this
but
long ass tangent about that evolution and shit.
I could have sworn it was a video. Maybe
Was
I
it a
painted
video?
it as a video in my head, but like I could have sworn like
Unless the
that had
music
an
was from,
origin from something.
unless I actually played the music from a YouTube video.
I
You
don't
know
know.
what? No. It was a music. It was a. It was definitely a song I played on YouTube, but I can't for the life of me remember that fucking song. Cause
I don't
I think I remember showing like listening, like having you listen to it, and then I fucking like kind of showed you how he would jerk off to it, and
yeah.
then we went off that tangent. But it was definitely a song that I showed you on YouTube, but I can't remember for the life of me what song that was.
Man.
Am I gonna have to go through my YouTube history from like what 8 years?
Yeah, you might.
Oh dear lord.
Fucking I don't even know. I think we had that conversation once,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
I remember drawing the character. I never finished him, but I remember drawing his outline.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I still have it, to be honest. I was rummaging through my old shit, and I found like
Mm-hmm.
an old like, like the whole like diagram of a human body, and then protruding was the fucking dick dog, like,
Uh-huh.
and it's there, and I never really finished it. It still has like the fucking frame lines and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild. I think wasn't didn't they have like a special attack or something, like a big like a beam attack or something?
Yeah, you can shoot like it was a white hot beam
Yeah, some shit like
because
that.
peaches, white. Again, super creative stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, it
very.
was, but like it was like you just kind of came up with this shit, and we just start building off of it.
Yeah, we could have done something.
Oh
We could have done
man,
something with it, Jaron.
I
Maybe we
feel
still.
like
Maybe we still
later.
can.
I mean, possibly. I mean, we definitely could, but I do feel like about the whole the dick thing where like the dick was a pet. I
Mhm.
feel like a couple years down the line, like somewhere middle college or maybe shortly after I left
Mhm.
Eastern, I saw an image online where it was almost exactly what we described, but except it was instead of like just being like an organic dick, it was like mechanical. But it still came from there. No, it didn't come from there. It came from his back. It was something. But anyway, since it didn't have anything to do with the dick, it doesn't matter at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
But
Yeah, that was a.
yeah, we could.
Yeah,
I'd
maybe.
more so on the whole Moroxidite stuff because I didn't. I
You're
don't
not.
think.
You're not about to go up and like write the first draft of Dick Dynasty.
No, I don't think the world's ready for that. I
Uh,
don't think the world will ever be ready for that.
I mean, we don't know unless we put it out there. Just lay it on the table and for everyone to see and shit.
You're right.
So, but right, a bit of a reminder before we go. Um, as you guys know and as you guys remember, I do stream on Twitch every Friday, around like 10 to midnight ish. I always do like a 2 hour stream, me playing Destiny and whatnot, catching up with the bros over there and leveling up my shit with Shadowkeep right around the corner. It's gonna be really busy quite soon, in 2 months once Shadowkeep becomes live. So in the meantime, I'm gonna be just grinding up my current gear right now and getting ready for the new season, for the new expansion, and yeah, just a bit of a what is it? A shameless plug and shameless promo. Um, so do check me out. The stream, you can find me on the stream with the same name, Wanabibu, and it's spelled WANNA BEABOO. So I hope you guys check it out. Stop on by, leave a comment, or kind of just watch me play Destiny real badly.
Yeah.
So
And since what you call it's coming out soon, the new expansion for Monster Hunter,
oh
you should stream that. I'll join you.
oh yeah,
Not on
I
streaming because I don't think my computer could handle that, but you
no
could
no on
record
PS4.
us.
Oh no, on PS4. Oh wait,
Well,
are you getting it for are you on Monster
yeah,
Hunter with
PS4. That's
PC?
what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Actually, I
PS4.
guess yeah, I guess I could stream directly from the PS4, couldn't I?
That's what I've been doing.
Okay, I
Yeah,
might join you in that.
I've been doing that. Yeah, I mean, I can stream on my end just and then add you to the party and shit. That's what I've been doing,
Yeah,
Marco.
yeah.
So, hey, when is that coming out? Isn't that soon? Like next month or something?
It's actually coming out pretty soon. I don't remember when exactly. I did you play the beta?
Of the thing? No, I did
Yeah.
not. I'm trying to keep myself
Okay.
surprised, to be honest.
Fair enough.
So, kind of have it be a new experience, fresh new experience. It's been a while since
So
I opened up Monster Hunter, so I probably should get refamiliar with the mechanics and whatnot.
same. I called myself trying to do it at some point, but I just didn't. Like I
Especially,
booted it up. I ran around a little bit, like looked at my gear and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go do a hunt," and I turned it off.
I remember switching over to like dual blades, and that was so much fun. I
Hmm.
gotta go back to learning how to play that or use that.
Yeah, dual blades are a fucking fun ass fucking uh
Hmm.
weapon.
Also, very appropriate for a wannabe stream. Go on the fucking Naruto run and start playing the fucking music. uh,
Right.
fucking great. But as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading us, guys. As you guys know, as you already remember, we have reached over 2,000 total downloads from you wonderful listeners out there. We can't thank you enough for supporting us in our endeavors, and we can't have done this without you guys, as usual. So, thank you again from the both of us, and as always, my name is Jomel Socorro.
My name's Jarron Gaddis.
And we on the Wannabe Boo podcast are bringing you the latest and greatest game anime news, reviews, and waifus for life.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you next time. Matane.
You almost slipped up there.
I did almost slip up there.